of these people.
All right, welcome to another episode of Angel in the Afternoon. I'm Angel Rivera, and we got Alex Knight, and of
There she
course,
is.
no, hey,
Hey guys,
Hey.
hope you're not hearing this music.
a little bit, but hey Angel, are you gonna show what I gave you? That video someone made, I guess AI. Snow showed it last night. I was like, holy cow!
Um,
You
don't know.
don't have
Um,
to. I don't know if YouTube will take it down. I'm surprised, like it hasn't been taken down off of X.
yeah, I don't.
So, Steph, you have a card account as well?
Do I have a card?
Yeah, card account. Is that correct? What? Wait, hold on a second. You liked a couple of my posts last night from a different account. Um,
Oh, yeah. I have Mrs. Witchy. I just started a new. Okay, so for those who don't know, I started a new channel. I'm gonna do some tarot for not only for like the week, but also for like signs. So if you're Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Virgo, Leo, Sagittarius, yada yada. Gonna do some tarot for you. So it's called Mrs. Witchy Perfect's Tarot, and you can check that out. I'm on Rumble, I'm on X now, and also on YouTube. So check that out if you're into tarot readings. You want to see what you might have in stock for the week to come. I did July 23rd to the 29th, so you can check that out. Angel,
Sorry.
I'll give you the I'm waiting for you to follow me actually on that, but I'll give you the
it's
link
kind of
if you
funny
want
that you liked my post about that Mets fan yelling and screaming in frustration.
to. Well, it's you, little brother. What can I say?
Yeah. So let's see. So as everybody knows, hopefully you guys can still hear me because I'm trying
Yeah, we
to.
can hear you.
You can
Yes,
hear
we can
me.
hear you.
Okay. Because I'm trying to mute what's going on outside, but hopefully it's mostly muted. All I want to hear is my voice. But okay,
You only
so
want to hear yourself talk, huh?
yeah, because right now there's horns honking and there's music earlier, so you guys can hear it. Sorry, but if you I hope you can. So yeah, I've had a lot going on in my life the last few days. Shut the
Yeah, your
fuck
power
up.
went out.
Yeah. I'm
Ugh.
hearing horns, so let's just get to it. Um, yeah, I mean, I've had my power went out last night. I
I'm
couldn't
surprised
prepare for
mine
the show.
didn't.
I couldn't prepare for the show the way I usually would. But yeah, my power went out. It was out until almost 10 o'clock last night. Transformer blew during another storm that came in very briefly. The storm was gone beforehand, so my power went out. Then my old Chromebook I was using to do this show completely bit the dust. It's done. What it does right now, it turns on, but when I log in, it immediately restarts on me. So, and I do it again, and restarts and restarts and restarts and restarts. So I don't know what's going on with it, and quite frankly, I'm done with it.
It's a
So,
Chromebook, my dear. They are cheap and they suck.
but they,
I
they
know I had a Chromebook the other day at work and I'm just like, nah, I can't figure this shit out.
well,
Every
it's
time we would try to, re format it, we tried a USB, we tried during it through, you can just like reset it, factory reset it,
yeah.
and black boxes came up. We couldn't figure it out. It was something on the motherboard. It has to be something motherboard related. So if it's crashing, probably your hard drive is probably, and it's probably on the motherboard. So
Yeah, so I know it's mine lasted 6 years, which is surprising to me. I thought it wouldn't last that long, but anyways, that happened to me. My electric went out. That happened to me. Um, so I'm borrowing a computer from my mother's computer, in fact, to continue doing the show, but I'm gonna eventually need a new computer. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that, but for now, I'm going to use this one, and we'll see what happens. So Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. If you haven't, please make sure you like and subscribe and all that other good stuff that's going on there. And so what's going on in the world today? I think we all know, but
We're three apparently.
we all know. But let's get. I'm gonna start with this first, and then. Did I share the right screen? No,
Hey, dragon.
I didn't share the right screen.
Well, that was cool anyway. For all you dragon lovers out there, that was for you.
Let's see. Nope, of course not. Hold on.
Hey, CBC.
No. Bear with me. No, that's not good either. That's a little better. What's like
How
that
about
one
that?
better? Yeah, because these are some other ones. Like, what is that? Like, why would you even do that?
Just go
Not to mention, half of Alex is being,
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, so that's kind of. I think these are new ones. So, anyways,
just put us on the left. Just put us on the left.
like that.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Get a Chinese computer. I mean, are they available
Do it?
here in the U.S.? Probably not.
A Chinese computer. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Unless a lot of computers are built out there anyway. So,
That's true.
anyways, pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil been ordered released by a federal judge. So this is an update to the Mahmoud Khalil story that
Well,
went
that's
viral
good.
some months ago. Let's see. The Columbia graduate has been in immigration agents' custody since March 8th, which is about 3 months ago now.
Boy,
So-
Trump has just been failing lately. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a president take more L's than him.
Well, that was by design. I'm sure.
Yeah. So this is little. Whoops. Why did it go there? There we go. It's mute. Hold on.
Palestinian a judge has ordered pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil be released on bail. The 30-year-old lawful permanent resident was being held in a facility in rural Louisiana. Khalil played a prominent role in last year's Columbia University protests against the Israel-Hamas war. He was arrested in March by immigration agents. He has not been charged with a crime and does not have a
What?
He said Israel-Hamas war. No, it's Israel committing genocide on Palestinians.
Exactly.
Criminal record. Let's bring in NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley with the latest. So, Julia, how did the judge come to this decision and what comes next for Khalil?
Well, we could hear the thinking from this judge over this telephonic conference today. And what we heard time and time again was that there was no record that Khalil would be a flight risk and that releasing him would pose no risk to U.S. national security. Now, the Trump administration lawyers argued against that, saying that it was because...
Did she say liars or lawyers?
Lawyers.
Saying that it was because he had violated...
It sounded like she said liars. Hold on.
Lawyers argued...
Okay. Yeah, it sounded like she said liars, but
against that, saying that it was because he had violated terms of his visa by possibly working and not disclosing the work, that should be a reason to detain him. That apparently did not come to the judge's mind when deciding to release him. Also at the heart of this, though, and this could determine what happens next in his future, is that the Trump administration argued that the judge in this case in New Jersey, a federal judge, did not have the jurisdiction to make this decision, that instead it should be made by an immigration judge. The judge said, no, that's not true. I do have this jurisdiction and there's no reason why an immigration judge needs to weigh in at all. But what that could mean is that the Trump administration will now move for an immigration judge, which is done through a completely different system, to then order that he be detained again. But for now, this federal judge says that he should be released from that detention center in Louisiana.
I don't know whether he's been released or not. I mean, this judge ruled that he should be released, but I don't know whether he's actually been released or
Trump's
not.
just desperate. I mean...
I think they're fucking with us.
Fucking shit.
Yeah. Federal judge ordered Trump administration Friday to release pro-Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate Mahmoud Khalil, ending more than 3 months in custody, blah, blah. Khalil, whose plight has been center stage of Trump's vow to crack down on opponents of Israel incursion to Gaza, has been in custody since March 8th. After more than 3 months, we can finally breathe a sigh of relief, know that Mahmoud is on his way home to me and Dean. Okay, so he's been released. Who never should have been separated from his father, Khalil's wife Noor Abdallah says in a statement a statement released by the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU. I've had plenty of issues with the ACLU lately, but at least they're doing the right thing here. We know that this ruling does not begin to address the injustices the Trump administration have brought down on our family and so many others in the government trying to silence for speaking out against Israel's ongoing genocide against the Palestinians, she said. But today we're celebrating Mahmoud coming back to New York to be reunited with our little family and the community that supported us since the day he was unjustly taken for speaking out on Palestinian freedom. Assistant Homeland Security Director Tricia McLaughlin lashed out at the rogue U.S. court judge Michael Firebrass, saying that he had no authority to order Khalil release.
Why? Why did he have no authority?
That's a good question. Apparently, they're claiming, well, I mean, he's not an immigration judge. He's a federal judge, but at the same time, yeah, that's so they're going to go to another immigration judge to see whether he puts him back in jail until his hearings. So hopefully, that judge doesn't put him back in jail, but it's possible that he will, or he or she will. This is another example of how to control members of the judicial branch are undermining national security, McLaughlin said. Their conduct not only denies the results of the 2024 election, but it also does great harm to our constitutional system by undermining public confidence in courts, and that sounds like total loyalty bullshit. She's just looking for an excuse to keep him in jail. Government attorney Durman Sampat had argued that Congress has given the executive branch sweeping powers to determine who could be removed from the country. The court should not have the authority to interfere. Okay.
Trump
I don't think
had no right to deport him.
No, he hasn't deported him yet. He's detained him.
That's right.
I mean, you know what
Yeah, I know what you mean. He had no right to detain him, but I don't think any of this is right, he said during the remote hearing.
Or deport him.
He added that there's a very strong and uncontested record that Khalil is not a flight list and poses no danger to the public. I'm going to exercise the discretion I have to order the release of the petitioner in this case, who is based in New Jersey. He didn't. Bayars, I just pronounced it differently, but whatever, declined the government request to stay his order for 7 days to give the government more time to fight it. He's been in jail for 3 months. I mean, give me seven more days to prove that he belongs in prison until his hearing, which is probably another 6 months. It is not immediately clear in the minutes after Firebar's ruling when Khalil could be set free from a detention center in Jena, Louisiana. Magistrate Judge Michael Hammer said Khalil will have to surrender his passport and any other travel documents as a condition of his release.
Bless you, little brother.
Yeah, bless you. But why would he have to do that? They're trying to deport him anyways. If he leaves the country, that's what the administration wants, right? So why has to surrender his passport? Hammer also ordered Khalil to limit his travel to New York, where he lives, Michigan, where his family lives, and New Jersey, where Firebars is based, Louisiana, the location of an immigration case, in Washington, D.C., for congressional visits and lobbying efforts. So it made it clear that Khalil needs to be released from custody on Friday. Federal authorities said they believe he can walk free by 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So he should be walking free any minute now because it's 7:19 Eastern here. So Khalil, who has a green card, is married to a U.S. citizen, has no criminal record. No one should fear to be in jail for speaking out in this country, he said his attorney, co-director of the Immigrant Rights Clinic at the New York University Law School. We are overjoyed that Mr. Khalil will finally be reunited with his family, where we continue to fight his case in courts. McLaughlin, the DHS representative, said the government will continue to litigate the matter. It is a privilege to be granted visa green card to live and study in the United States of America, she said. The Trump administration acted well within its statutory constitutional authority to detain Khalil. That's total bullshit, and it's done with any alien who advocates for violence, glorifies, supports terrorists, harasses Jews, and damages property. So this part here, harasses Jews. That's what their main issue is. If he harassed Puerto Ricans, they wouldn't care. If he harassed blacks, they wouldn't care. If he harassed any other white, he wouldn't care. But it's Jews.
He doesn't harass Jews.
I know, but that's their accusation.
Zionists. That's
Secretary of State Marco Rubio has cited an obscure provision, the Immigration and Nationality Act in 1952, to justify Khalil's removal, arguing he posed a national security risk. The Cold War era statute gives the Secretary of State authority to personally determine whether Khalil should remain in the country, the administration has argued. But Khalil's backers insist the government actions are meant to stifle free speech on college campuses and silence opponents of Israel's ongoing military action in Gaza. Israeli forces rolled into Gaza, blah, 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 October 7, 2023, and a terrorist attack killed 1,000 people. More than 55,000 people have been killed in Gaza since Israel launched its war against Hamas. So,
again, genocide against Palestinians, not a war.
Yeah, so he's been released, and it's good. We'll see what happens with his case, but hopefully everything goes well. So yeah, let's get to the new holy war that Netanyahu and Trump started, and that's what I'm calling another holy war, because or another crusade, because this is a war with Christian and Jews against the Arabs, which has already begun in Iran. It'll continue probably. It'll continue with other Arab countries, which is why, as we talked about last week, Saudi Arabia came out and condemned the invasion, even though Saudi Arabia and Iran are enemies. So they're different sects of the Muslim religion, so it's why they don't like each other. But even Saudi Arabia was like, "No, this is bullshit. You can't. I mean, this invasion is bullshit." Why? Because they think they're next. That's why. So, and they're scared about that. So, Sean says, dropping a like and listening. Thank you for the like. Trust me, that really helps, because as everybody knows, INN and me personally, we've been shadow banned and nobody sees our stuff. And they took away INN's monetization over a year ago and promised to return it to us in a few months, but never did. And we're not expecting it back anytime ever. So we've accepted that, and now we are completely user funded. So thank you very much for your support. Now, let's get started with this. I'm sure you guys seen the whole Tulsi Gabbard drama here. So the president of the United States, says Trump says the intelligence community is wrong and that Iran is not building nuclear weapons. So I think it's this clip where he specifically throws Tulsi Gabbard under the bus here. I'm pretty sure it's this one.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
She's wrong.
And then go to Tulsi's DNI account. You'll see her response.
I have that too. Hold on. I have that too. But the president said she's wrong. So, but it gets worse because Tulsi Gabbard kind of backpedals herself, because initially she said that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon or doesn't have the capability to get one. Now she says this: a dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point where it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks to months. If they decide to finalize the assembly, President Trump has been cleared that can't happen, and I agree. Oh my God. That's not what she said, actually, but...
Iran continues to seek expansion of its influence in the Middle East, despite the degradation to its proxies and defenses during the Gaza conflict. Iran has developed and maintains ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, including systems capable of striking U.S. targets and allies in the region. Tehran has shown a willingness to use these weapons, including during a 2020 attack on U.S. forces in Iraq, and in attacks against Israel in April and October 2024. Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
Hi, Sean.
The IC continues.
Wait, did she say what I think?
2003. Weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2000.
See, you hear that? She just said it there. The Iranians don't have a nuclear program and have not had one since 2003.
And they don't want one.
She continues.
But that's also, we know that's knowledge. I mean, we know already that the Iranians don't want a nuclear weapon. They said as much. They don't want one.
The Ayatollah, in fact, Khomeini has he declared a fatwa, which is a religious ruling that he made that the Iranians can have a nuclear weapon, and that fatwa has not been rescinded as far as I know. So
right,
it's a total lie. But she said it there. I mean, but her post there, I never said that, or now I believe this. So Trump, I'm sure, called her and got her right to the administration's talking points. So.
The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons. Iran will likely continue efforts to counter Israel and press for U.S. military withdrawal from the region by aiding, arming, and helping to reconstitute its loose consortium of like-minded terrorists and militant actors, which it refers to as its axis of resistance. Although weakened, this collection of actors still presents a wide range of threats, including to Israel's population, U.S. forces deployed in Iraq and Syria, and to U.S. and international military and commercial shipping.
Well, and she keeps droning on there. So, yeah, that's not what this tweet says. That testimony is not this. The video is two different things there. So this is like loyalty language here that says American intelligence said Iran is at the point where it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks or months.
How is she any different than Hillary and Haley and all those warmongers that she opposed back then? How is she any different than them?
She isn't. She this is the price of.
Yeah, she was bought and sold just like every other politician.
This is the price
for her to pull a Colin Powell and then bring something to prove that they have to the nukes in Iran.
Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network says you're so pathetic. Jesus Christ, you're so absolutely pathetic. I can't believe there's a time where I admired you.
I supported her, and now it's just.
Well, I saw your message. You're like, "Fuck you, Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sorry I ever liked you or whatever." I was like, "Oh boy,
I can't believe I ever supported you." That's what I.
Yes.
Kim Iverson says absolutely shameful, completely shameful. Jackson Hinkle, whatever. This goes on. Most people. I like this.
Hinkle was a Trumper, so is he backpedaling now?
No, I don't think he's a Trumper. He's a grifter. That's what he is. He's just.
Oh, okay.
This tweet will live forever as your Colin Powell has Iraq WMB moment. If we go to war with Iran, this will be your legacy. Blah blah blah. They sidelined you at Camp David, which is another thing. They sidelined her at Camp David, so she was not at that meeting with all the other cabinet members were. So
this is no different than when Joe Biden, when he would always throw Bernie under the bus, and Bernie always sided with him. This is no different with Tulsi and Trump.
So there it is. 2003 was George Bush
Kai.
and Colin Powell.
Dick, Tulsi.
Now 2025 is Trump and Tulsi.
That's what she does.
Yep.
Yeah, she sucks dick. That's for sure. That's why she sold out. She has to suck that dick.
Thoughts on Max Blumenthal being a spy for the U.S.-Israeli strike on Iran? Look into it if you haven't.
Max Blumenthal? A spy?
He's always been anti-Zionist as far as I know. So
I don't know.
That's interesting.
You have to show us that,
So yeah, that's that. That's something else. So let me just go to this.
I will say the song that Snow played last night, that Boom Boom song, is kind of very catchy. I mean, they really did bring it on themselves, but I'm saying it's like really catchy if you've
Oh
ever
yeah,
heard
I've seen it. It's
it.
the Boom Boom guys. In fact, it was that the older guy was the one that appeared on AEW pay-per-view and had a match with somebody and beat him. So that was
Get
him.
out.
That was him. Yeah,
He made the Boom Boom song.
yeah. It was him. Yeah. Let's
I wonder
see.
if it's going to be censored. I kind of want to put it on my X, but then I'm like, oh, they'll take me down. They'll find
Yeah.
some excuse.
So let's see. Donald Trump says he will decide within 2 weeks whether Trump says he will decide whether or not to bomb Iran within 2 weeks. The president claimed there was a substantial chance for negotiations. He's still insisting on negotiations, even though he allowed Israel to bomb them, and is providing logistical support too. So what's he's talking about he's talking out of both sides of his mouth again. President Trump said in a statement released by the White House on Thursday that he will make a decision on whether or not to directly enter the Israel-Iran war by launching airstrikes within 2 weeks. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt read the statement at a press briefing. Based on the fact that there is substantial evidence of negotiations that may or may not take place in the near future, I will make my decision on whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks, she said. When asked what Trump demands were for a diplomatic solution with Iran, Leavitt said that Tehran must give up its nuclear enrichment program, a condition that Tehran made clear is non-starter. Iranian officials have also said they're not willing to negotiate while Israel is attacking Iran. So, and they also made that clear. So I don't know why Trump thinks there's a chance for negotiations. Like, I don't know what he's talking about there. This giving up his nuclear enrichment program, that's not nuclear weapons. That's everything. That includes for research and for electric for your power grid. If they don't have anything, you might as well make Iran go back to the Stone Age, because they have no way to get power without a nuclear power plant, which is what that means. It doesn't mean just nuclear weapons. Reuters reported on Thursday that U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has spoken by phone with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi several times since Israel launched the war last week. Diplomats said that Araghchi's message was that Iran could return to nuclear negotiations and show flexibilities, but only if Israel's attack comes to an end. The statement from Trump regarding the timeline on this decision came after the Wall Street Journal reported that the president had approved plans to attack Iran, but is waiting to give the final order. Trump said on Thursday that the paper had no idea what my thoughts are concerning Iran. Bloomberg also reported Wednesday U.S. officials are preparing to launch strikes on Iran in the coming days, making this weekend a potential time for attacks to begin. Iran has vowed that it will hit back hard, and Iranian missile attacks on U.S. bases in the region could cause significant American casualties. They have been posturing for weeks that they're going to do this, and they still haven't done it. So I'm not buying that they're actually going to pull the trigger on attacking U.S. bases.
No, because they don't want to poke the bear. I mean, guys, let's face it that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Israel and the United States, they do. So, I mean, it's either you can take care of Israel, your arch nemesis, or you can take care of, their arch nemesis, who is, bigger and badder. And I'm not saying, I don't like, there's stuff I don't like about America either, but I'm just saying, when it comes to firepower, we have the most firepower of them all. And we could wipe out Iran in like 2 seconds. And that's not something I'm proud of. I'm just stating the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes to, again, they didn't do anything after Soleimani was killed, or Soleimani, or whatever the hell his name is.
It's Soleimani. It's just Trump can't get the name.
Oh, Trump can't get it right, of course, because Trump sucks dick. But I digress. But no, the fact that literally, Israel thinks, hey, we're going to poke Iran, and then they got hit, hey, what goes around comes around. It's karma, baby. It sucks.
And now Israel knows what it's like what Gaza turned out. Now they know what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Israel is expecting the U.S. to join the war and wants the U.S. to drop its heavy bunker buster bombs on Iran's Fordo nuclear site, which is buried deep underground. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli officials have made it increasingly clear that their real goal may be regime change. Well, obviously, it's regime change. What do you think? This is about just bombing their nuclear facilities. They obviously want to
All the
remove.
times Tulsi Gabbard talked about any regime change wars, like, nope, I'm for regime change.
Yeah,
Now she is.
Yeah, she's
That's what I'm
now.
saying.
Because she knows where bread is buttered. She knows where she's,
Well, to be fair, Tulsi Gabbard has always hated Arabs, so.
Or
Yeah, I
Muslims.
can't figure that out.
She's hated Muslims. That's what it is.
Well,
No,
Arabs.
yeah.
Well, most Arabs are Muslim, but they're not all Muslim.
Yeah, that's
no.
a fair point. There, she always hated Muslims. So, Netanyahu launched the war under the pretext of stopping Iran from building a nuclear weapon. But the consensus of the U.S. intelligence before the attack was that Tehran wasn't working for a bomb, including the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She said that, and she said it there in that testimony that we just played. So now that she's backpedaling because Trump sidelined her during a major meeting at Camp David, and I'm sure that he called her pissed off to change the intelligence, or like Dick Cheney did, fix the intelligence for Iraq. So Trump is repeating the same mistake that George W. Bush and Dick Cheney did right before the Iraq War, which he hated and he railed against back in 2016. Now all of a sudden he's making the same mistake.
He was just doing it to
Oh no, yeah, no, he was doing it because he's running for president and he wanted to beat
He's not making a mistake. He knows what he's doing.
That's fair. But he was trying to beat Jeb Bush at the time, who was the number one candidate. So, and Jeb Bush faltered and fell apart like a little boy. So, Iran made it clear negotiations with the U.S. that is willing to recommit to never develop nuclear weapons, reduce uranium enrichment to low levels, increase oversight, and get rid of the stockpile of uranium enriched at a 60% level. So the Iranians are willing to negotiate, but I don't think the Trump administration, like we talked about last week, negotiating in good faith. They are basically trying to negotiate in order to stall for Israel's attack on Tehran and other parts of Iran. Let's see. So let's get to the Russians here. Russia tells the U.S. not to strike Iran, warns of nuclear catastrophe.
The U.S. ain't gonna listen.
No. St. Petersburg. Russia is telling the United States not to strike at Iran because it would radically destabilize the Middle East. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on Wednesday. And Moscow said that Israeli strikes risk triggering a nuclear catastrophe. Russia signed a strategic partnership with Iran in January and also has a relationship with Israel, although it's been strained under Moscow's war in Ukraine. A Russian offer to mediate the Israel-Iran conflict has not been taken up.
But remember, Putin's the evil one, am I right?
Yeah, that's what we all in the U.S. think, or at least the U.S. establishment thinks. Ryabkov, speaking on the sidelines of an economic forum in St. Petersburg, told Interfax news agency Moscow was urging Washington to refrain from direct involvement. This would be a step that would radically destabilize the entire situation. Then criticizing such speculative conjectural opinions. The head of Russia's SVR Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Norinskin, said that the situation between Iran and Israel is now critical, and the Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said that Israel strikes on Iranian nuclear infrastructure meant the world was millimeters from catastrophe. Nuclear facilities are being struck. Nuclear safety watchdogs already noted specific damage. Where is the concern for the entire world community? Where are all the environmentalists? Which is a good point because none of them have really been talking about this as far as I've seen. I don't know if they are far away and this radiation wave don't reach them. Well, let them read what happened at Fukushima, referring to the 2011 accident at the Japanese nuclear power plant. Israel says it struck Iranian nuclear facilities to prevent Tehran from developing an atomic weapon. Iranians deny seeking atomic weapons. Again,
Oh, I'm so sick of this fucking lie. And they literally are spreading it and still spreading it on fucking Fox News. My dad was watching Fox News, and I told my son, I said, honey, do not believe a word that comes out of these people's mouth, because literally they are propagandists and they are liars, and they love war. They are rich people talking down to us poor people. And literally my son goes, how do you know? I said, trust me, I know, honey. I said, they're cheering on this war and it's ridiculous. And I hate it. I hate the fact that my dad thinks that everybody on Fox News is telling the truth and that everybody else on MSNBC and CNN are lying. No, they're all lying.
Yeah,
They are all lying.
Yeah, they're all lying. Russians offered to mediate in a 20-year strategic partnership pact signed in January by President Vladimir Putin and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. Russia did not undertake to help Tehran militarily and under no obligation to do so, despite the country's close military ties. Which that's interesting. So the Russians are in no obligation to help Iran, even though they signed this strategic partnership. So that tells me that Russia doesn't want a war with the U.S. They don't want to risk that, because most of these deals signed says, "Oh yeah, if I get attacked, you have to help me." Kind of like NATO in Article 5. If one NATO member gets attacked, it's a war against all of them. So the Russians are not, they're not under no obligation to help Iran. So under this deal. And I don't think they could anyways, because they've been bogged down in Ukraine for 3 years, as I talked about last week. So I don't think they're in any position to even help Ukraine militarily. Putin has already lost an important partner in the Middle East with the fall of Syria's Bashar al-Assad last December. Spoke to U.S. President Donald Trump by phone on Saturday. He offered Moscow's services as a mediator, which Trump said he was open to before demanding Iran's unconditional surrender, whatever that means. I don't think he knows what that means.
No, but he just likes to talk big, because they all like to talk big. Oh, I'm going to talk down to Iran and they're just going to listen and be my little puppy dogs. Fuck you, Trump. Go suck a dick. Nobody cares about you. And you literally are just literally a puppet for the fucking rich who literally sign your paychecks. So literally go suck a dick, Trump.
Bad Wolf says, Max is my adopted son. He's no spy. This is dad's a dick.
Okay. I have heard so, but I've also defended Max Blumenthal because he's been on, the Jimmy Dore show, and he speaks so eloquently about stuff like this. I mean, he's been in the trenches, so, and he's a Jew. So, I mean, and but he's not a Zionist, he's not like the one that wants to hurt all Arabs. I mean, because that's not fair. Okay. Iran did not start anything. It was always Israel starting stuff. And like the song said, you're getting what's coming to you. Karma's a bitch.
And yeah, the Jimmy Dore show, that's where Max made that famous face, like,
Right, that face. A source familiar with U.S. internal discussions says Trump and his team were considering options, including joining it in Israel and strikes against Iran's nuclear sites. Sergei Makarov, a former Kremlin advisor, said the conflict, though opposed by Russia, could yield some benefits to Moscow, including higher oil prices, more appetite from China for Russian oil because difficulty sourcing Iranian oil, and a relocation of U.S. military resources away from Ukraine. So, yeah. And this is a big one, because right now China buys most of his oil from Iran. And if they're bombing Iran, including the oil fields, then the Chinese will be forced to go to Russia for oil. So it'll help the Russians in that way too. Because the Chinese can't go to the U.S. for oil because, we're technically geopolitical enemies right now. So they're going to have to go to Russia.
And that's stupid too. The whole fact, it's all China's fault. China. No,
you're a communist.
Yeah, literally, it's not China's. China is not my enemy. You know who my enemy is? Rich people.
Yeah.
Who literally want me to own nothing, be happy, and eat sea bugs, and then they want to kill me. Again, no one, as Snow put it so eloquently, who benefits from a nuclear war with Iran? Absolutely fucking nobody except for the rich. Because literally, who are going to die? Not the rich. They can
Yeah.
go underground.
Golden says, I want to think Max is actually doing everything he can to undo whatever his father represented.
That's exactly what I think as well.
That's what I think too. There may be a thing or
Hi,
two that
Golden.
Max hasn't discussed in length yet. So
I can't agree more with
that's what I think too.
He's a fraud because his father supported Hillary Clinton or whatever.
Yeah, but he has never supported Hillary
That
Clinton.
doesn't mean Max is the same as well.
Right, and I've had to defend him on that. I'm like, just because his dad supported Hillary Clinton and rich people doesn't mean that Max does. I've never once heard Max say, "Oh, I love Hillary Clinton."
It's just like when people say Jimmy Dore's a fraud because his dad was a cop. Doesn't mean Jimmy supports cops.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's kind of the same argument he used against Jimmy. The fact that Jimmy's dad and I think his brother too is a cop.
Yeah, his brother, his dad, his brother-in-law, I think, is a cop too.
Yeah. So the White House posts totally misleading video edit of Tulsi Gabbard. So this is also what the White House did. White House social media.
Looks old and ew. She looks like the Crypt Keeper.
She looks older there. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. She looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, I remember one of the clips from a few months ago where Snow pointed out that she's getting the same orange face as Trump.
Yes. She's trying to become Trump after sucking his dick, I guess.
The White House social media account has posted a highly misleading video of Tulsi Gabbard where she appears to bolster the argument that Iran is getting dangerously close to developing a nuclear bomb. In reality, she just told...
Just imagine how Tulsi's going to look when she reaches her, 60s or 70s or,
Yeah. She's not going to age well. In reality, she had just told the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that U.S. intelligence community did not believe that Iran was building a nuclear weapon, which we just played that whole testimony where she says
Sean,
that.
are you defending Tulsi Gabbard or what? I mean, I love wrestling, but what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, well, I don't understand.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Angel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fun. The edited clip begins just after she had made explicitly clear. She went on to say there nonetheless some indication of a shift in rhetoric. So the clip shared by Rapid Response 47, which is the Trump minute, I think that's the Trump supporting account, said in the past decade, blah, blah. So this is what they actually posted. So I'm just going to actually play this real quick. This is the testimony, but they only posted after she said whatever she said about how Iranians are not developing nuclear weapons. This is what they posted. We already seen this, but
Oh, Max. You're talking about Max, Sean. Okay. I was like, wait, what did I say? Okay. All right. Yeah, we got you now, Sean. We're cool.
Yeah, so this is what they posted. But right before this, when she says that, she said that the Iranians are not developing a nuclear weapon, and we have no evidence that they're doing so. So
that's right. And she was correct on that. She was absolutely correct. I'm sorry, Golden. I was talking to Sean.
So this is misleading. DNI Gabbard in March. This is totally misleading. We just saw the whole testimony, which Gabbard's account did post. So that's interesting. So it seems like they're if you want to look at it at the best case scenario, it seems like that they're rebelling against Trump, but most likely that's total bullshit. And they just accidentally posted the part where she said the truth. So let's see here. Let's go back to this.
It's actually Mrs. Sean. It's Mrs. It's okay. I love you anyway, Sean. Keep going. Yeah, Golden MWP means Mrs. Witchy Perfect. There you go.
She continues, blah, blah, blah. Decision to use a clip of Gabbard to make the case that Tehran was close to developing a nuclear weapon came after Trump lost his cool with his director of national intelligence for criticizing the case for war. So, yeah, I think he had a frank discussion with Tulsi Gabbard, and she got her head right because she wants to remain head of national intelligence. So she doesn't want to be fired from a job that from a high profile position. Oh, and she was also not included in a major meeting in Camp David, as we discussed. So she's kind of embarrassed, so she wants to be back in the club, obviously. In March's testimony, Gabbard has severely downplayed the threat.
No, it's Mrs. Sean because I'm technically almost married, so just say Mrs. Okay, Mrs.
So Donald Trump has publicly dismissed Gabbard's influence on his decision making regarding any role the U.S. would have in aiding Israel against Iran. I don't care what she said when we played that already. He responded, and a reporter asked him about her testimony earlier this year. I think they're very close to developing a nuclear weapon. When
Yeah, well,
Trump
I
said,
think that you're a fucking fraud, Trump, and I think you suck dick and you like it. So it doesn't matter what you think, it's actually what is happening. Here's what's actually happening. The facts are they're not even close because they don't want a nuclear weapon, you dumb motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Trump is in the Benjamin Netanyahu kiss my ass club.
Oh my God.
and it's not just him, it's all the U.S. presidents and Washington in general. And if you want to have any power in Washington, you have to defer to Netanyahu and Israel and the Zionists in general.
Which is why people shouldn't be celebrating if that the guy from New York wins as mayor. I can't remember.
Oh, did he win his primary, or I thought Cuomo?
No, it's still going on.
I thought Cuomo was.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it's
in the
still
lead or
going on. I
But
know.
I'm saying that people shouldn't be celebrating
If he wins, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the same old, same old. You know, day different, same day, different. You know, same shit, different day. You know.
Gabbard's
Ugh,
video.
I'll get it out eventually.
Gabbard's video a few weeks ago claiming that
Never heard of it.
that the political elite and warmongers were carelessly fomenting fear of tensions between nuclear powers. It didn't sit well with him either.
She's part of a political elite and warmonger. She's no different.
Yep. She's sold out to the political elite. That's right.
Her rhetoric is still like liberal, progressive Tulsi Gabbard from 5 or 6 years ago, before she completely sold out to those same people and got a nice, great, high-profile job in the administration.
Yeah.
I don't think he dislikes Tulsi as a person, but certainly the video made him not super hot on her, and he doesn't like it when people are off message. The senior administration official told Politico. As his party hawks fought a very public battle with non-interventionists, Trump said on Wednesday he's still open to negotiating with Iran. At the same time, he said he was considering military action. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change, he said about bringing any order bringing U.S. forces into the region.
Well, somebody gave you a donation, it looks like, there, Angel. From the Lord of Accords.
Oh. Well, thank you for the donation, Lord.
Yeah, thank you. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I mean, I at the end of the show was going to say it, but I'm probably looking to raise some money to get a new computer. So if because this is not my computer I'm using right now. So if any donations come in, I'll thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. And I usually don't promote the whole donation thing, but now, unfortunately, I'm going to need to because I do need that new computer. So any donations that come in, thank you so much. It's so helpful. And I greatly appreciate anything that comes in. So where was I? I already read that. As the party hawks fought a very public battle I already read that too. Okay, I already read this. I don't know why I'm rereading this. So that's that. So let's get rid of that. Am I lagging, or it's just me?
No, you're good.
Fine.
Okay, just making sure. So right now we have you guys should change the title. Iranians and Persian are not Arab. Muslim world would be more accurate. What did I put? I don't remember what title I even put. I title streams.
Something,
I don't remember.
Holy War against something.
I don't remember what I titled them. Okay,
Netanyahu started Holy
Which,
War.
Should we also cover the Tucker Carlson Ted Cruz interview?
Oh God, no! Not unless you want me to puke on air.
Yeah, I mean, if we have time, maybe, but I don't know if we'll have time.
Okay, but I'm gonna puke.
Netanyahu and Trump start holy war against Arab world. I mean,
Tucker just destroyed him.
It's probably fair, I should probably put Muslim world. I'll probably change it after the stream though, because I can't really do it right now because I'm in the middle of it.
I don't really see a difference, but I mean, they technically, yes, most Arabs are Muslim. I'm saying most, not all. I'm saying most, are Muslim. So
Yeah, so I found this kind of funny. This is my thumbnail. I put
Yeah.
Trump and Netanyahu as
no
crusaders
one
and
really
stuff,
says Persians anymore, though.
and so I thought that was pretty funny. That's why I did it like that. But yeah, I haven't heard anybody. Technically, Iranians are Persian, but I haven't heard that said in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's old school.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you can call them that, but I
yeah.
mean, everybody knows they're. I mean, technically, they are Arabs too. So
Yeah, so Khamenei assassination could draw Hezbollah into the Israel-Iran hostilities, say sources. Yeah, because Hezbollah is aligned with Iran. So if you assassinate the Khomeini, the Grand, what is he called? The Grand Ayatollah or something like that?
yeah, the Grand Ayatollah
Okay.
of Rock and Rolla. No, I'm kidding.
So is he
Where's
called
Bad
that? I
Cookies
forget.
Is that a Chris Jericho reference?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I hate that dude. Eh!
So killing.
Yeah, suck
Oh,
a dick.
here it is. Supreme Leader. That's what I'm looking for. Not Grand Ayatollah.
I just hope Netanyahu's killed very soon. We're all gonna have a party if he does.
Yeah, he's
Party like
already.
it's 1999.
He's already fucked off. He's already fucked off to Greece. So unless they bomb Greece, there's no way they're killing him right now.
Anybody got missiles?
Uh,
Head for Greece.
Killing
Okay, sorry.
Supreme Leader could spark existential battle for Iran's allies. So forces close to Lebanese group tells MEE. Hezbollah may join the war between Israel and Iran if the United
What the
States intervene directly.
Caitlin Collins has bikini photos. What?
So I don't know. That's an ad. I don't know why that's there. On June 14th, Hassan Fadi Allah, a Hezbollah lawmaker, stated Iran knows how to defend itself. The comments were widely interpreted in Lebanese political circles as a sign that the war-weary group did not want to intervene to support its Iranian allies. A Hezbollah official also told Reuters last week the group will not initiate an attack on Israel in response to strikes in Iran. However, sources close to the party has said to MEE that Reuters report is inaccurate. One source said that Hezbollah has ideological red lines, namely direct American military involvement in the war or the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The scenarios would shift the calculations and may push the group into conflict. The source would not be drawn on exactly what the role in the war would look like. A senior Iranian official echoed one of the red lines, saying to Al Jazeera that Hezbollah would intervene if Washington did so. Both red lines has been hinted at by U.S. President Donald Trump in recent days. CBS reported that Trump had approved plans to directly attack Iran, but had not made a final decision on it yet. On Khomeini, the president said Tuesday that Washington knew where the supreme leader was, but would not kill him for now. So, again, this is Trump posturing. I don't know if Washington knows where he's at, but to me, that sounds like posturing by Trump, which is what he always does. Existential battle. The Axis of Resistance, a group of non-state actors across the region allied to Iran, sees the current conflict as an existential battle. Ali Razik, a Lebanese security analyst and expert on Hezbollah, said that the killing of Khomeini, taken in isolation, would not necessarily pose an existential threat to Hezbollah. I think that
Bad Wolf. I'm sorry, Angel. Bad Wolf. I agree. I I'm pretty sure that Ted Cruz could not pick out Iran on a map. So yes, I'm sorry, Angel. Go ahead.
Oh, please. I need
You
a
don't know
drink
what the
anyways.
population of the country you're trying to topple?
So it would be okay. I think what the existential threat for Hezbollah would be is for the Islamic Republic to be destroyed. It's quite likely that Hezbollah would intervene should the regime's survival be at stakes. Hezbollah relations to Iran are linked as an ideological level, not just Shia, but Waliyat al-Faqih, he said, referring to doctrine in Shia Islam that government should be led by Islamic jurists who has the highest level of expertise. Rizik added if the U.S. became involved militarily, the conflict could snowball towards regime change, which will most likely draw Hezbollah into getting involved. So let's see. It would be Israel, Iran, the U.S., and Hezbollah. That's a mess. That's a huge mess. That's an absolutely huge mess if that happens. That's a bigger quagmire than Afghanistan was and Iraq was.
So, in that DNI Tulsi Gabbard post, Russell Dubular retweeted saying, "Worst OnlyFans account ever."
Tom Barrack, the U.S. Special Envoy for Syria, warned Hezbollah against getting involved. I can say on behalf of President Trump that would be a very, very, very bad decision. He told reporters on Thursday in Beirut, shortly after the meeting, Lebanese officials, including Parliament Speaker Nabahi Berri. The second source told MIE, that if necessary, the Iranian regime is threatened. The party's ready to enter the battle through a support front, as happened in Gaza and Syria. Hezbollah helping a battlefront with Israel on October 8, 2023, supporting Palestine or Palestinians under Israeli attack in Gaza. This keeps going, but if I read this, I'll probably take another 20 minutes. But yeah, basically, if Khomeini's assassinated, Hezbollah went into the war, and it's going to be a giant mess. So, again, I'm nearly certain that Trump is going to enter this war because he's a patsy for the deep state, and they wanted this war for decades, as we talked about last week and the week before that. So, there's no way that they're not going to enter this war. I would be shocked if Trump backpedaled from that. Oops. I didn't mean to click that. Not yet. I'll get to that in a moment. So, oilprice.com. This is, we've covered them before. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Israel. Iran is rushing to export oil following Israeli attacks. Iran has hiked its daily oil exports by 44% since the first Israeli attack on the Islamic Republic on Friday, as Tehran appears to be aiming to ship out as much crude as possible amid escalating hostilities. Since June 13th, the start of Israeli offensive against Iran nuclear sites' military leadership, Iran has exported on average 2.33 million barrels per day, according to data from the vessel tracking firm tankertrackers.com. The average since last Friday is 44% surge. The average since last Friday, 44% surge in average shipments out of Iran compared to last 12 months to June 12th. That's a mouthful. They are trying to get out as many barrels as they can, with safety as number one priority, commenting on Israeli shipments, blah, blah, blah. Despite persistent fears of disruption to Middle East oil and LNG supply, there hasn't been any sign yet that vital export infrastructure in Iran has been targeted. But it will be. I get the feeling that it will be, and it will be soon, because look, here's the thing. Maybe the only way it won't be attacked if the U.S. and Israel want to take over the oil, like we did in Syria. Remember what we did in Syria, where the military just occupying the oil fields and not allowing the Syrians to take it back. They're occupying. It's all, this is ours now. Oh, by the way, it's all your oil fields, so that's ours now. That's probably what they're going to do in Iran too. They're just going to occupy the oil fields and tell the Iranians that, oh yeah, this is ours. There's nothing you can do about it. It's kind of like what we did in Cuba too. We just took land from Cuba, said it's Guantanamo Bay, and it's ours now, and we're not giving it back anytime ever. In fact, I read that Iran's Karg Island is in the Gulf's a major crude terminal and trade hub, handling 90% Iranian crude oil exports, which then pass through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a major strait because the Iranians have also threatened to shut this down, which means world trade is fucked, which means we're all going to see not only price increases, but lack of oil too. So remember 1979 when we had that major oil embargo? That's going to happen again if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, we weren't alive in 79, but if you're alive and you remember this in your history, then yeah. And that's already read that. As the conflict doesn't seem to abate, oil supply from the Middle East could become vulnerable if the two sides decide to attack vital energy infrastructure in the region. Analysts at RBC Capital Markets said in a note earlier this week. The oil market's biggest fear is the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which I just discussed. Appears to be a distant prospect for now, although they acknowledge if the oil flows are disrupted in the strait, prices could very easily hit $100 per barrel. If that happens, that means we're seeing price increases at the pump here locally here in the U.S. So right now, what is it? $2 or $2.50 a gallon or something like that. So you might be looking at $4 or $5 a gallon. Great. A significant disruption to almost a third of global seaborne oil trade moving through the Strait of Hormuz would be enough to push oil prices to $120 a barrel. So, yeah, the Iranians are trying to get as much oil out as possible so they can make money for the war effort, unfortunately, because they got attacked by Israel for no reason. So, let's see here. Not that.
Oh, Angel, did you see Kyle Kowinski's Twitter post hours ago about him promoting the Stop the Kings event or whatever it was?
I haven't seen
Wait,
it.
he's trying to take credit for that?
Or I don't know if it. I don't know. I'm not saying it's his event, but he's posting it that it's coming July 4th, or that's.
There's another there's another No Kings rally on July 4th.
July 4th. Yeah, if you go to his account,
go
down.
I don't see his account anymore. It's not that I muted him. It's just that
who would want to see him?
I
think I blocked his ass.
I haven't clicked on one of his tweets in a long time, so he's not on my timeline anymore. Thank God. But I did see his there's a nearly an hour long clip of Kyle and Jank going crazy on each other and being lunatics. So
what?
Yeah, Jank went on Crystal Kyle and Friends, and Kyle and him started yelling at each other over Trump, how evil Trump is. So yeah, they're both lunatics. I'm not going to bother watching it, but I'm sure.
Was it just days ago or
no? It was uploaded today.
Today,
wow.
Yeah. So they both were lunatics on each other, yelling and screaming at each other about Kyle thinks Trump is evil. Cenk is like, no, it's not really. They reversed roles, honestly, from their first term.
So it wasn't from the Breaking Points channel?
No, it was on his channel. It was Crystal Kyle and Friends, the podcast that he do on Fridays. So they yell and scream at each other. Trump is evil. Trump isn't that evil. He's a fascist. He's not. They all use talking points. And meanwhile, they ignore the deep state and they ignore the connection that we talked about last week from the CIA to the intelligence agencies to the think tanks to the donors to the military-industrial complex. That's who truly runs our foreign policy, which is why U.S. presidents always have the same foreign policy, no matter what. Even if they on the campaign trail say, I'm anti-war, vote for me. It turns out that they're not anti-war.
He wished he voted for Biden.
Yeah, he's a simple-minded idiot that just uses talking points. Bad Wolf says that means we're walking to the grocery store where there's no food anyways. Yeah, it's not that's going to be bad. If they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, we're all fucked. It's not just the U.S., but most of the world is fucked because that's where most of the world's trade goes through. That's a very important.
Someone would say we're so fucked.
Yeah.
Again, you will own nothing, be happy, and eat sea bugs, and then you will die from starvation or until a rich person kills you. Probably bomb you.
I did see that video because it was on my YouTube homepage, and I was like, really? I mean, that video is going viral apparently. So this is what they wanted. This is
two morons, I guess.
Two simple-minded idiots yelling at each other about how evil Trump is, and meanwhile, Trump is a patsy. He's not actually running shit. Just like Biden was, and just like Obama was, and just like Bush was, and Clinton and Reagan going back before him.
Just puppets, marrying puppets. They might as well just go like this all the time, or one of those blow things,
Yeah.
So Maritza Hussein wrote this on Substack. This is Drop Site News. There is no such thing as a quick U.S. war on Iran. No, it's a disaster waiting to happen. You guys think Iraq and Afghanistan were quagmires? wait until Iran. That is so much worse because Iran is twice the size of Iraq and Afghanistan. So we're going to have to commit more troops to occupying that country. And there's going to be Hezbollah there, and there's going to be different terrorist groups there attacking our U.S. military forces. And then that'll justify Trump saying, "Oh, we're going to do a surge. We're going to do a surge like Obama did in Afghanistan," even though he promised.
I wonder if there's going to be another WWE segment where superstars argue we should go to war with Iran like they did with Iraq.
Yeah, I remember that. And the baby faces argued for war.
Yeah.
Great. And the heels were anti-war, even though the heels were right there. Yeah, I remember that segment. It was infamous because it was just so bad, and the baby faces were pro-war. And the fans cheered it on, too.
Saying, go kick their asses, you know.
And the fans cheered it on, too. So at the time, this is right after, the invasion. So almost a week after Israel launched an unprovoked military offensive against Iran, the Trump administration on the verge of sending U.S. aircraft to join the fight directly. Speaking on Wednesday morning to reporters at the White House, in its response to a question on whether the U.S. was preparing its own strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities in Israel, President Trump said, "I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
I may do it, I may not."
All right, here's the thing. What he's saying there is, I've not gotten my marching orders yet. So
That's right.
we'll see.
I got a call. Give me 1 second.
That's fine. Take it.
Hello, Citibank.
On Wednesday afternoon, Trump repeated to reporters at the Oval Office that he had not made a decision on striking Iran, repeating the claim, contradicted by his U.S. intelligence assessments, that Iran are weeks away from a nuclear weapon. This is the same talking point Netanyahu used in 2002. They're weeks away from a nuclear weapon. It's 25 years later, and they still don't have it, and they're not going to have it. So Netanyahu has been itching for war with Iran for 30 years. So he also told this to Ronald Reagan, that he swore up and down that there was a nuclear weapon in Iran and that should invade Iran.
Not only that, if you, unfortunately, I had to watch Sean Hannity last night, and literally, he was going, "Oh, look at what Israel did to Iran. Oh, they totally blew them up." I was like, "Fuck you! Go suck a dick, you motherfucker!" I said, "Did you see what Iran did to Israel? Oh, so much for that fucking Iron Dome, and fucking Trump's talking about a golden one, and that ain't gonna fucking work, you idiot."
The golden dome that Trump is proposing, it's just a giant money laundering scheme to have the money go from the defense contractors to executives' pockets, because it's never going to get built. Elon Musk already said that it was unfeasible, and other people say it too, but who cares, because we're all going to get taxpayer money and enrich ourselves further, so they don't care.
Exactly. That they never have any, they don't care about poor people, guys. They do not care about you and your family. Look at Sean Hannity. He's literally rich beyond rich, and he's sitting here going, "Oh, did you see that total attack that Israel did to Iran? Am I right? Yeah. They're actually winning." I was like, no, they ain't. No, they ain't, motherfuckers. And they're winning. I went, yeah, okay.
The Israeli government.
Another one.
Look at this. The Israeli government has demanded
There's
U.S.
going to be a gif of you, Steph, doing that.
It is bullshit.
What? Oh, gif.
There should be a gif of that.
Look at this bullshit. The Israeli government has demanded U.S. assistance in destroying Iran's fortified nuclear facilities at Fordow. Who do you think you are demanding anything from the U.S.? I mean, this just shows how entitled the Israelis are, or the Zionists are in particular, that they think they can demand anything.
It's so frustrating as a Jew that the Holocaust happened and my grandparents were part of it. They the Nazis humiliated them and all that. Now Israel are the Nazis. It's just what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. On Friday, Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Yechel Leiter, told Fox News that the entire operation has to be completed with the elimination of Fordow. Israeli officials have argued that only the U.S. military has munitions capable of targeting effectively, particularly the 30,000-pound massive ordnance penetrator, or MOP bomb. The Iranians also maintain another major nuclear facilities at Natanz, which has already been hit by Israeli strikes, but is less fortified than Fordow. The MOP bunker buster bomb is even larger than the mother of all bombs, or MOAB, which Trump bragged about using in Afghanistan in 2017 to target a
And watch the
tunnel
mainstream
conflicts.
media be guided by the beauty of the weapons again.
Yeah, well, that was I think Brian Williams was jacking off to
yeah.
that.
I remember
And-
Tulsi Gabbard went after Brian Williams for that, but now
Yeah.
she's on board.
So Trump bragged about using the mother of all bombs in 2017 in Afghanistan.
It's
The
beautiful,
MOP,
it's tremendous,
Yep.
it's the great bomb,
And-
the best bomb ever.
the MOP bunker buster bombs are even larger. So this is going to be a disaster if they do that, because it's a nuclear facility. So naturally, you have nuclear fallout going around the area, and that fallout could hit us very easily, or it could hit Europe, or it could hit Russia. It's a disaster. Like, what are they thinking? What do they think? There's no fallout going to happen with that? But it makes no sense. Like, this is a terrible idea to start bombing nuclear facilities. Israel is
And
framed
just so you know, for those who think that Kamala wouldn't have been any different, no, it still would have happened under Kamala.
Of course it would have. I mean, Democrats are running with that talking point and trying to create the narrative that Kamala would have never done this as president. She would have negotiated a great peace deal or a great new nuclear deal with Iran. I'm like, no, she wouldn't have. This would have happened exactly the same way, and it probably would have happened sooner under Kamala, because she would have allowed it. She would have allowed the military to do exactly what they wanted, because she's a patsy.
She would have said, she would have made a similar quote like Hillary did. We came, we saw, he died, and then she'd be laughing.
Yeah. If Trump invades Iran, I can almost guarantee that a Democrat's winning in 28. So there's no Republican that can argue against that. Argue against that disastrous invasion.
Unless like Vivek Ramaswamy, maybe. I don't know if I heard this position.
Yeah, he maybe. I mean, if he were to run, he's running for governor of, I think, Ohio right now. So
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He could maybe make the argument against it, but Tulsi Gabbard can't, because she so completely agreed with the invasion after Trump, yelled at her and put her in her place.
I mean, she can't run as an anti-war candidate anymore.
No.
Tarnished.
No, so even if she resigns and runs as a Republican, she can't. She owns the invasion, because just like JD Vance would. So
she was talking about one of the debates that Trump has blood on his hands. Well, she also has blood on her hands now. So
I think she might like that, because she hates Muslims. So she's always had even though she was anti-war and stuff, but she was okay with bombing Muslims. She always has been. Israel has framed the U.S. entering the fray as a way to bring the conflict with Iran to a quick conclusion. Total bullshit. If we invade, we're going to be stuck with Iran for decades, and that's going to be our quagmire, just like Afghanistan was. But absent and immediately,
there's going to be propaganda movies against Iran.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like those movies are coming. I mean, Hollywood is another part of like that deep state where they're the propaganda outlet, the U.S. government. So, like when the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, they had what's that movie, 0 Hour or something, where they tortured.
0 Dark 30, is that what you're
saying? Yeah, that's one. Where at the beginning of the movie, they used torture in order to stop a bombing somewhere, because they tortured someone for the information. So, so basically saying torture works and it's great, and putting that propaganda out there. Let's see.
Honestly, anyone who says that needs to be tortured.
We torture some folks.
Yeah, and we torture some folks. And no, I look forward.
That was good.
I look forward and I'll look backwards, and let's move on. Basically, that Obama ran basically on the promise that he would, go after the Bush administration for their crimes. And as soon as he elected, we don't look backwards, we look forward, and and we tortured from folks. Basically, that's all it was. A U.S. attack would likely be a prelude to a much longer and drawn-out military engagement with Iran, which is what's going to happen. A U.S. war with Iran focused on stopping Tehran from attaining a nuclear weapon rather than beginning and ending with the destruction of Fordow would need to extend to a much broader campaign searching for and destroying new and undisclosed nuclear sites across the country, particularly as Iran is likely to respond to an attack by diverting nuclear equipment to other sites in its vast territory. Like we talked about, Iran is twice the size of Iraq and Afghanistan. So we're going to need more troops. We're going to need more ground troops. We're going to need more resources in order to occupy the entire country. Afghanistan costs, what, $1 trillion a day? Trust me, it's going to be multi-trillions dollars per day in order to occupy Iran. Iran has built a sprawling civilian nuclear program with thousands of scientists and a large number of critical sites. A war aimed at stopping the nuclear weapon would need to be long and expansive, potentially even including a ground component to search for undisclosed sites and verify the level of damage from air attacks. In addition to internal pressure from Iranian elites to rework the program to develop a bomb following the Israeli assault, the country is also now facing public pressure to do the same in response to the attack that believed to kill hundreds of civilians.
And this is where Kyle Kowinski would be saying, I told you Democrats are a trillion times better than Republicans, huh? Did you agree with me now, huh?
Hey, Kyle Kuklinski, go suck a dick. Isn't that what you do?
I've talked about this a few weeks ago where I think the Iranians should have been building a bomb in secret. Now there's pressure from the Iranian elites and to create a bomb as well as civilians, saying, yeah, we need the bomb in order to protect ourselves.
So Trump is going to be echoing John McCain saying, bomb, 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 Iran.
Yep.
I like the original song.
Uh-huh. Hey guys, making supper. Just putting a like and keeping your ear out. Thank you. That helps. Every like helps. Despite their statements about the nuclear program and desire for U.S. help into addressing it, Israeli officials have been open that their own objectives are much broader. In recent days, Israeli officials have suggested that their real aim is U.S.-supported regime change in Iran. Of course it is. It's not about just the nuclear sites. It's about regime change. They want to remove the government, or even wholesale partition and destruction of the country itself, which Tel Aviv would require U.S. military assistance over an extended period. The campaign is a culmination of a decades-long effort by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Again, we have talked about this before. Netanyahu was telling Reagan about how dangerous Iran was, and they were weeks from nuclear weapons. That's back in the 80s. Imagine, he told this to Clinton, to Bush, to Obama, to Trump the first time, to Biden, and now finally Trump is going through with it. Chicken broccoli rice casserole.
That sounds really good, dude.
I hate broccoli, though.
Oh, you hate broccoli. What do you know, little brother? Put a little butter on it and mwah. Okay.
The campaign is the culmination.
One thing. The Jimmy Dore phone calls he does. Whoever, I forget the name of the guy who does it. He needs to do one as Netanyahu to be hilarious.
Yeah, he does one, BB.
Hey,
it's BB.
Why do you have to be such an asshole and a warmonger, huh?
Oh shit, I forgot his name too, but yeah, he's
Mike
McRae.
Him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The campaign is a culmination of decade-long Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the neoconservative movement would succeed in pinning the U.S. in a conflict with Iran that is opposed by non-interventionist faction of Trump's MAGA base. Trump doesn't care about that base, and every time there's a Trump tricked them and does the opposite. Indy and everybody else tweets out the what's that called? The got tricked again meme.
I got fooled again.
I got fooled again meme. Yeah,
manga got fooled again.
Yeah.
and shame on the Muslims in Michigan who endorsed Trump. In the primaries or whatever. Shame on them. Like, how did they not see this coming?
I didn't care. Well, I mean, look at. I almost said Hillary. Wow. Harris was no better. I mean, Harris.
I know.
This would have happened with Harris or
Trump. Not endorsed anyone.
That's true. I agree with that. Yeah. Well. Again, propagandized.
Yep. Let's see. Many people who claim the U.S. attack against Iran's nuclear program would be quick and easy, but this is a lot of Israeli propaganda, as they would love to see America stay in the region in a forever war that helps underwrite their expansionism. Sina Tosi, a senior non-resident fellow of the Center for International Policy
There's
focused on
Tulsi and
Iran.
then there's Tusi.
Yeah. Even if the U.S. carries out a round of strikes and Natanz is destroyed, Fordo is heavily damaged, Iran is already has stockpiles of uranium and centrifuges elsewhere, as well as a massive nuclear program consisting of thousands of people. You would need to verify that they did not have a covert program in other facilities where they can dash for a bomb. This would become a forever war. Obviously, everybody can see that. I can see that. I mean, this is and I'm just a random host podcaster in New Jersey. I could see this coming. But no, the Trump administration can't see it. Trump can't see it. He's kind of aloof and kind of an idiot, not understanding what's going on. And he's trusting Bibi Netanyahu to basically tell him what to do. Is like, oh yeah, I mean, trust us. It'll be a short, quick mission. Just bomb a few sites for us, and we're done. No, you're not going to be done. Trust me, you're going to be stuck there for the rest of our lifetimes. Right now, we're all in our mid to late 30s. The rest of our lifetimes. So whatever time we have left, the U.S. government will be in Iran, and we'll be stuck with it.
GTA 6 can't come out soon enough.
Yeah. That's that. It goes on about the deaths and stuff, and we talked about Trump's
we all get the
unconditional surrender talking point. So, all right, let's see. So apparently, this is where is it? Oops, I just unshared. Hold on. So this is from the Insider paper. Breaking: the government of Pakistan has decided to formally recommend President Donald Trump for the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize. And apparently this is real, because this is not some parody. This is real. Because let's see.
Pakistan, what are you doing?
Insider paper for your source for breaking news and developing stories. So this is not a parody, apparently. This is serious. Like, they're seriously looking to nominate President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Here's the thing. Obama also won one in 2009, like right after he entered office.
Yeah. It's like that meme where you Nobel Peace Prize himself, or whatever that meme is.
Yeah. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And I'm like, really? Are we really going to do this? Like start faking. Oops. Hold on. Yeah, so
as that meme says, we live in a cartoon.
Yes, we do, unfortunately. And it's real, though. That's the difference. So now all of a sudden, the CIA chief echoes Mossad's finding on Iran's nuclear program. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is sidelined from the Trump administration's Iran debate. So the one person that may have again, been the voice of reason has been sidelined. And she wants to be back in the club, so that's why now she's spreading the administration's talking points now. Even though she said the truth in March that there was no evidence that they were trying to obtain a nuclear weapon. It appears that the Trump administration is favoring an assessment from Israeli intelligence that Iran could obtain a nuclear weapon in as little as 15 days. Portion of the U.S. intelligence community states Tehran has not decided to build a nuclear weapon and would be at least a year away from building a functioning weapon. U.S. intelligence also assesses that a U.S. attack on Iran would provoke Tehran into developing a strategic weapon. Obviously, if they
don't attack Iran.
Yeah, but they want to attack Iran. That's the thing, and they want an excuse. And all of a sudden, if they do attack Iran, and is there evidence that they're trying to build a nuclear weapon, then they'll turn around and see, we told you they're trying to build a nuclear weapon. Now we have to commit 500,000 troops and trillions of dollars to the military in order to.
I mean, no offense, that's what they're trying to do on Fox News. Oh, we told you guys, they're trying to build one. They're this close. I'm like, oh, go suck a dick, you idiots. By the way, I did see, little brother, I did see the GTA 6 trailer. Yeah, I did. It's okay. It's good graphics, though. I mean, it's almost like a movie.
It's Rockstar. I mean, they put in all the effort into their graphics, and you should see Red Dead Redemption 2. It's amazing. And that's back 10 years ago. It was released. It still stands up to today's graphic standards. According to,
did you see that failure of the Trump war parade or whatever that was?
Oh, the military parade? Yeah, nobody went to it. Apparently, it was just
like my coworker was saying, like he was watching some kind of video or something, and the guy's like, "It's so awesome that we got to go to a parade to watch a tank cry," and here's
yeah.
I was gonna say the wheels creaking. It was so funny.
Kirian says Fed tube manufacturing consent sucking Satan not Yahoo. Ready to go, but about to blow. Good one there. According to the New York Times, some American officials says those new assessments echoed material provided by Mossad, which believes that Iran can achieve a nuclear weapon in 15 days. While some American officials find the Israeli estimate credible, others emphasize the U.S. intelligence assessment remained unchanged, and that American spy agencies believe that it would take several months or up to a year for Iran to make a weapon. In March, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard told Congress that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. Officials speaking with CNN earlier this week said it would take Tehran 3 years to build a strategic weapon delivery system. So even if they wanted to, it would take years. So what? And they don't want to, again, as we've all said on the show.
But
however,
funny after the third year pass and it's still going on. It's not ready.
Yeah, it's not going to be ready. I don't think they'll actually do it, though. However, the Trump administration sources say Gabbard has been sidelined on the Iran issue. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard, an outspoken critic of past U.S. military interventions abroad, appears to have fallen out of favor with President Donald Trump as he weighs military action against Iran.
No, there's no fallout. Nope.
No, I mean, she'll be fine. It's that once she gets her head right, she'll be back in the club. She'll be back in the meetings.
She does have her mind right, and now she's talking like sense again.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Multiple senior administration officials said Gabbard had been sidelined in internal discussions discussing the conflict between Israel and Iran. Publicly, Trump has dismissed his top intelligence official. I don't care what Gabbard said. I think Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon. The president said on board Air Force One earlier this week. CIA Director John Ratcliffe appears to be one of the advocates of Mossad's position within the White House. Breaking Point's host Sagar and Jetty reports a senior U.S. intelligence official tells me that there's zero independence U.S. intelligence to back up CIA Director John Ratcliffe's pronouncement that Iran is at the 1 yard line of a nuclear weapon.
Why are they trying to use these damn sports analogies when none of them are in sports and know nothing about it? They just know it's that thing,
it's a
that
football
thing they
analogy.
pass around.
It's a football analogy.
As Jimmy
Stop
Dore,
it!
As Jimmy Dore would say, Sagar.
Yeah, Sagar.
Yeah. He continued all intelligences from Israel. So, by the way, Sagar and Jetty is Crystal's co-host on Breaking Points, and they're supposed to be independent, new media. But meanwhile,
Look at Sagar. He looks like a fucking idiot.
And meanwhile, Sagar has sources within the within intelligence. So, yeah, they're new corporate.
Remember
media.
when he and Crystal Ball, when they were at Rising? Remember they were laughing how Julian Assange was being tortured in prison?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, now look at him. He looks like a fucking dork. Like, I suck dick.
that was one of the worst segments they ever did on Rising. And they never apologized for it, remember correctly. They never went back and apologized for it, even though people called them out on it. The Times spoke with sources who said the Israeli intelligence or assessment could be fabricated to meet Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's need to drag the U.S. into the war. No shit, Sherlock. How did you figure that out? I mean, did you really need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out? Morons. Some officials believe that Israeli assessment has been colored by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's desire to gain American support for his military campaign in Iran. Again, Sherlock Holmes here figured stuff out. Tel Aviv needs Washington to bomb some of Iran's most fortified nuclear targets, such as Fordow. Some assessments say that the U.S., with its heavy bombers and 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs, could disable Fordow. However, the Pentagon believes that Washington would have to use a nuclear weapon to destroy the site. Seriously? They're discussing using a nuclear weapon to destroy the site? So, nuclear weapon and a nuclear power plant. The fallout would be insane off that. who knows how far it would go.
Well, now we know Fallout 3 remake is happening.
Oh yeah,
because Fallout 3 took Fallout 3 took place in Washington D.C. So.
Yeah, so President Donald Trump authorized a direct strike on Iran's nuclear sites. The U.S. intelligence community believes it could push Tehran to finally attempt to build a strategic weapon. And we already talked about this. Senior intelligence officials said Iranian leaders would likely shift towards producing a bomb if the American military attacked Iranian nuclear enrichment sites in Fordow, or if Israel killed its supreme leader. So, yeah. They're seriously talking about nuclear bomb in order to destroy a nuclear power plant that's underground.
Like I said many times, Tulsi Gabbard's been the biggest disappointment of my lifetime. People say it's Bernie, and understandably so, but for me, it's Tulsi. I mean, no question.
Yeah, most would say Bernie. I tend to agree with you, but I think she was just there to dangle the carrot, just like Bernie Sanders was. They were there to sheep herd people back into the Democratic Party. They were not trying to get out of it.
And like I mentioned before, I got to meet her 4 times at her rallies. She was amazing to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the Tulsi I remember.
Yeah. Completely ignoring Sagar and Crystal has not felt a loss to me in any way. No. I mean, it's not. I mean, their Breaking Point show sucks. It's just
I don't watch it. Does anyone else here watch it?
I don't.
Remember, that was supposed to be Breaking Point's the good alternative compared to The Hill Rising. That is good compared to Rising. Well, Rising has been a little more credible compared to Breaking Point.
It is because they left Rising over, what was it? It was something that The Hill was censoring one of their coverage on something, and basically Crystal.
All I know is I think it's ironic that Sagar and Jetty is a immigrant, and literally looks down on immigrants.
Well, he's a Republican, so
of course he is.
Yeah,
because he likes to suck Republican dick. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're all immigrants, unless you're Native American and pure Native American. We are all immigrants here. We all came here with people already on this land. So yes, you're an immigrant too. Everybody is. So if you want to look down on immigrants, you look down on yourself and your ancestors.
So allegedly, they left over censorship or something.
Oh, we should also talk about how the Iron Dome has been failing.
Yeah, it has been.
That's
failing.
what I said in that Boom Boom song.
Yeah,
and now I got it stuck in my head. Thanks a lot.
The gates of hell. Iran launches ultra heavy CG missiles in latest attack wave. Is this it? My God.
Look at CBC voter.
Sunka Dicky.
Hey, don't take my lines. Don't take my lines, CBC. No, I love you.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard announced on Wednesday that it launched the 12th wave of its missile attacks on Israel using heavy long-range CG missiles. I guess that's how it's pronounced. The Revolutionary Guard said it used ultra-heavy CG missiles in the 12th wave of Operation True Promise 3 to target a number of sites in the occupied territories, asserting that it had destroyed Israeli air defenses, that the sky of the occupied territories are open to our missiles and drones. It also stressed that missile attacks would be focused and continuance. So apparently these are the missiles.
Startled me for a second. What is it? What is it trying to do? Inception music or something?
Yeah, it seems like this is like the movie trailers the Trump administration uses all the time. That's how propaganda.
I looked up CG and it means correct, heal, and peace.
Oh.
I don't know how a missile could be peaceful, but okay, sure.
It's supposed to lead to peace in the Middle East. I don't know.
I mean, yes, that's what it means.
That's their theory on it. The aerospace forces missiles of the Revolutionary Guard prevent you from spending a single moment outside underground shelters. A few days have passed where you have... Wait, I missed something. Yeah, Revolutionary Guard addressed Israelis, according to the Tashihim news agency, saying that in his communique that the commander of the Israeli Islamic Revolutionary Guard had previously warned that the gates of hell will open for you, and added that, I already read that, it added Be sure that the sound of the sirens will not stop for a single moment. Either you choose slow death and a hellish fire inside the shelters, or you save yourself from a continuous 24-hour missile bombardment and flee as quickly as possible. So you might have to save your lives. Commenting on the new launch of the Iranian National Guard, Israeli Army radio quoted a security official saying that the latest Iranian missile was exceptional in terms of its type, weight, and quantity of explosives. Missile interception. In response to the Israeli military announced a new wave of Iranian missiles targeted at Greater Tel Aviv area where sirens sounded in several locations, noting that the new Iranian missile barrage was the first in 18 hours. Israeli Army radio quoted a military source saying that the launch of the 8 missiles from Iran was detected, while the army announced they had intercepted all missiles launched from Iran. And that's total bullshit, because we've seen the pictures where a lot of it was going through their Iron Dome and was hitting their targets. So
That's what the Boom Boom song is about. And literally it said, this is what you get for all your evil deeds. And now you know how the Palestinians feel.
yep.
So, I mean, the song is like, it's real,
way
but,
too small.
I don't want anyone to die, but I mean, what goes around comes around. It's
Yeah.
karma, baby.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. Before the missile barrage reached Israel, the Israeli army called on the public to enter protected areas immediately upon receiving the alert to remain there until further notice. Shortly thereafter, the army announced the activation of sirens in wide areas of Greater Tel Aviv. The Hebrew newspaper Yedioth Ahronoth, I butchered that, also reported that sirens sounded in the Hasharon area, central, and the Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. Later, the private Hebrew channel 12 reported that some of the new missiles fell en route and the rest were intercepted. In this context, Israeli media reported that the Israeli Air Force had intercepted 9 Iranian drones in northern Israel since early Wednesday morning. So, on another front, the head of the Israeli censorship, Brigadier General Kobi Mandelblit, signed a new emergency order prohibiting publications that, in his words, could harm state security, send a message to the enemy, incite the public, or undermine national morale, including social media posts. In other words, do not show their Iranian missiles getting through our Iron Dome and destroying our stuff, because it could hurt national morale. That's what he's saying. Don't post those videos. Don't take those videos even, or else you can get in trouble.
Come at me, bro, motherfucker. It is a catchy tune, stupid son of a bitch. And if you want to take my ex down, you go right ahead, motherfucker. Because I got people that are my fans. They are my wrestling fans. And if you don't like a little video about Boom Boom Tel Aviv, well, go suck a dick.
The order, based on the 1945 Emergency Defense Regulations, mark its first such step since 1988 and reflects tightened control over sensitive information in the digital age. The new decision will aid and pave the way for prosecuting citizens and media outlets that violate censorship rules and broadcast or distribute documents related to missile strikes and drone attacks. The order was signed amidst reported increasing disregard for censorship body instructions, including publication of direct hits and casualties, location and bases and air defense system, and classified material without prior censorship approval. This comes as Israel imposes strict censorship on sites targeted by Iranian missiles and drones, especially those targeting military or vital locations, claiming that revealing such sites provides assistance to the enemy. Since dawn on June 13th, Israel, with American support, has been waging a war on Iran, including the bombing of nuclear sites and missile facilities, and the assassination of military commanders and nuclear scientists. This has resulted in 224 deaths and 1,277 injuries. Tehran, in turn, responded with ballistic missiles and drones, causing over 30 deaths and injuring hundreds. The risks of conflict expansion loom, with Western and Hebrew reports suggesting the possibility of the United States joining Israel in this war in Iran, concluding with statements from U.S. President Donald Trump, who called on Tehran to surrender unconditionally, again, whatever that means, I don't understand what that means, and hinted at the possibility of targeting Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. So there you go. Again, Jesus Christ, what else? What else has to happen? Because as long
Nuclear war. That's what has to happen. Nuclear war. where all poor
Remember when
people
Tulsi Gabbard
die.
made such a huge deal about nuclear war, about the seek shelter message that she kept mentioning
Well,
about
Snow yesterday showed Tulsi Gabbard had talked to survivors of the fallout from when the United States bombed Hiroshima. And, they were talking, oh, well, the suffering that happened there. I'm like, why do you care, Tulsi? You're a fucking rich person who's not going to be hurt in a nuclear holocaust, you fucking asshole. So why do you fucking care that kids were burnt to death?
Yep. Well,
you don't even
again,
care about Gaza. You don't care that kids in Gaza are dying and that we have to see the fucking pictures because I'm a fucking mom, you idiot. Tulsi, if you're not a fucking mom, then you have no soul. If you are a mom and you've seen these pictures, you have no fucking soul because that could be your kid. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
as
you're
a
not
mom,
wrong.
this infuriates me.
If I hear her mention Aloha one more time.
Really? Nobody gives a fuck that you're from Hawaii.
So now let's because we cannot forget about the Gaza Strip because, as everybody knows,
well, she's actually from American Samoa, or she's not from Hawaii, but still.
We can't. While Israel bombed Iran, here's what it did in the Gaza and the West Bank. Again, we can't. I don't think we could forget about them because, that's the whole point of this bombing. Kind of forgetting what we're doing, or not. Actually, we could say we because if Israel's doing it, like I said last week, the U.S. is also doing it too because we're funding them. It's now been 1 week since Israel launched military strikes in Iran, forcing tens of thousands of civilians to flee their homes in Tehran and other cities, and sparking fear of a broader regional escalation. The bombing of Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, alongside provocative remarks by U.S. President Donald Trump, who hinted on American involvement, has drawn global attention. Iran has since launched retaliatory attacks, with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowing severe punishment and ordering strikes on Tel Aviv as a move seen unprecedented. So far, at least 639 Iranians have been killed and 1,300 wounded, according to the human rights activist news agency, while 24 Israelis have died from Iranian strikes, according to Israeli authorities.
What? Sean.
Israel would be a butt of fart in the winds. All right. Let's see. Despite this, rights groups have urged the world not to lose sight of Gaza and the occupied West Bank, where Israeli military operations and war crimes continue. The new era breaks down major developments in Palestine, blah, blah, blah. Israel launches strikes on Iran and simultaneously imposed a complete lockdown on the West Bank.
Last week was Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that was Friday. Military checkpoints, roadblock closure, all movement between cities and villages. The army sealed all entrances to Jericho and the King Hussein Bridge, connecting the West Bank to Jordan.
Jericho, that sounds,
Yeah, it's like Jericho, but I think that's a city there, Jericho.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho. God. Really? This is like some kind of fucking weird ass joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The army sealed all. I already read that. Israeli forces also opened fire on civilians and journalists as they're at the Deir Sharaf checkpoint west of Nablus, according to Wafa.
Hamas are evil ones.
Yeah, they're guilty. At the same time, worshippers were forcibly removed from the Al-Aqsa mosque compound during dawn prayers. By the way, this is one of the most holiest sites in Islam. But the Jews, of course, or the Zionists, let's say, are removing them in the middle of their prayers. The gates were sealed as Israeli forces cleared the area.
Remember when Joe Biden happily admitted that he was a Zionist?
Yeah. Well, he's been a Zionist his entire career, going back to the Senate ever since he got there back in the 70s. That's how old Joe Biden was or is. While Israeli citizens were given detailed instructions and access to bomb shelters in anticipation of Iranian retaliation, Palestinians received no guidance or support. Of course not. In Gaza, Israeli forces continue airstrikes on Nasir Hospital, a refugee camp in Nusrat, and the Sanfor Junction east of Al Tofa in Gaza City. Now, this is Saturday. At least 79 Palestinians were killed in Gaza. Half of them were waiting for emergency aid, according to the Gaza Civil Defense. Israeli military also continued bombardment of Nasir Hospital and one of the last partially functioning medical centers in the enclave. Meanwhile, internet connectivity remains severely disrupted. In Egypt, sorry about that, videos surfaced showing attacks on members of the Gaza Solidarity Convoy. Activists accused Egyptian authorities of obstructing humanitarian aid efforts. Hundreds of foreign nationals arriving at Cairo airport to join the convoy were reportedly detained. So the Egyptians are even kind of doing Israel's bidding here and arresting all these people and not allowing them in their country after they're there to do activism and and to give aid and stuff. 4 Palestinian citizens of Israel were also killed in Iranian strikes in the town of Tamar near Haifa. Footage circulated online showing Israeli citizens celebrating the deaths with anti-Arab chants, including "May your village burn." So, again, these are all really, I don't want to call them Israeli. They're more Zionists because Israelis mean everyone in general. So, every Jewish person in general. So, I don't think that's fair. But, all right, so this is all the closures I get, I guess, throughout the Gaza Strip there. So, more. On Sunday, this is now the 15th, more 45 Palestinians were killed in Gaza by Israeli strikes, including at least 23 civilians near aid distribution points and trucks. Of course, that's been happening for months now. They're just killing Palestinians near aid distribution points and trucks. So that's why a lot of them are starving to death because they don't want to risk being killed either. So either you starve to death or you risk getting killed trying to get a little bit of
pick
food
your
that they give
poison.
you.
But this is exactly what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
like pick your
this
poison.
is exactly what I'm talking about, and this is why everyone's like, "Oh, Israel, you poor things! You were hit by missiles. Fuck you. What about the Palestinians? You motherfuckers! You guys don't. Where's all the pro-life people?
Yeah.
Oh, they're sucking dick. I forgot. They just want to tell women what to do with their bodies.
Yeah.
Go fucking suck a dick, you assholes." Nobody gives a fuck about the Palestinians and the fact that Gaza is literally a breeding ground for bombing. And it's Israel's playground. They can bomb it whenever the fucking hell they want. Now Israel's getting to taste their own medicine from Iran, and everyone's like, "Oh, you poor victims, Israel." Fuck you.
Yeah, meanwhile, the media is also putting out the bullshit claim that Iran started this.
And no one's believing it.
Even though it's clear that Israel started this. It's clear that Israel started
it all.
Yep. The Gaza Health Ministry warned that the remaining few hospitals face imminent closure due to Israel's obstruction of aid and lack of medical supplies. Israel forces also escalated the insurance of expulsion orders and shelled residential buildings.
It's issuance.
Issuance, thank you. In the Netherlands, tens of thousands of demonstrators dressed in red marched through The Hague to protest Israel's strike on Gaza. And now Monday, this gets worse. Palestinian citizens of Israel were denied access to bomb shelters as Iran retaliated against Israel. Palestinian citizens of Israel were denied access to bomb shelters. This kept them out. It's like, nope, you're Palestinian, even though you're a citizen.
Again, this is no different than, I mean, literally, they even treat their own citizens that are Palestinian like shit.
Yeah.
Why would you stay there?
Yeah,
I understand. I mean, they want to keep you in concentration camps, just like the Jews of the World War II. But guess what? World War II, the Nazis were not Muslims. They weren't Arabs. They were Christians.
Even though I'm a Jew,
Yep.
I've been fortunate to have not been to Israel, and I'm never going there.
Well, I wouldn't go there now. They're being bombed by Iran. But yeah, I get your point. Some were refused entry and given no access codes, prompting accusation of systemic discrimination. Oh, you don't say. Meanwhile, Israel's strikes on Gaza killed at least 50 Palestinians, nearly half of them near aid distribution centers run by U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. We talked about this group before. I think they're a money laundering scheme in order to get money into the pockets of rich Americans.
Rich people in general.
That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, you're right. It is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Palestinians will be the victims of all this. And all of us poor people, you don't think they're just going to stop with Gaza, right? You know they're not going to just stop with them. They're going to literally come here and do this to us, the poor people. They are literally doing what they do over there. I agree with Jimmy Dore. What they do over there, they will eventually do over here. 15-minute cities. They will do bombings of those 15-minute cities if you don't comply.
So the this is Tuesday now. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem announced its closure until Friday, following Iran's retaliation, directing staff to shelter in place. In southern Gaza, at least 80 Palestinians were killed, many while queuing for aid near U.S.-run distribution center. The Palestinian Authority reported that a fixed line and internet services in central and southern Gaza were cut after Israel damaged the main fiber optic cable. Jesus, all the motorcycles.
It's like they waited until now and then they all conversed, right, Angel? Right outside your window. They're like, all right, guys,
yeah, it's like,
come here. Oh,
I've tried.
All right, everybody disperse now. He's actually doing a show.
Yeah, I've tried to mute this,
well,
but
it's kind of hard to do when you're reading
as much as I can. Yeah, I've tried to mute as much as I can, but it's getting through, pretty sure, anyways. All right, I read that. West Gaza Israeli sellers launched coordinated attacks on Palestinian-owned properties in cities including Nablus, Ramallah, and that city there. One settler group reportedly attacked a stone facility under army protection. Separately, Israeli media outlet Ynet cited unnamed sources claiming progress in talks for a prisoner exchange deal between Hamas and Israel, but Palestinian factions later denied any agreement had been reached. Wednesday the 18th, Palestinian Health Ministry announced that Israeli forces had killed at least 140 people in Gaza over the previous 24 hours. It gets worse. In the West Bank, raids and arrests continue. 2 people were detained in Methaloon town, with 2 others in Masafir Yatta,
like this.
according
Minister
to
Mohammed Mustafa. That's got to be like from the Lion King or something.
Or
it looks like it. Yeah, the Palestinian Authority.
Of life. Damn.
Or Muhammad Hassan,
Prime Minister. Yeah. The Palestinian Authority Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa appealed to the Arab League for financial assistance, stating that Israel's withholding $2.2 billion in tax revenues had crippled essential services, including health, education, and security. Israel has withheld Palestinian tax revenue since 2019. So
I'd be kicking somebody's ass. You give me
Israel
my money,
having control,
bitch.
Yeah. This is Thursday the 19th, which is yesterday. Israeli strikes killed at least 23 Palestinians in the early hours, including 16 people waiting for humanitarian aid. Again, this is a common theme here. 16 people were killed waiting for aid. So it's either you starve to death or you go to get aid and food and maybe get killed by a bombing or by getting shot. So
that's what I said.
Pick your poison.
It's the new meme for Tulsi Gabbard. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself.
Well, then she should have died a hero because she's a fucking villain. Sellout. All she does is suck dick all day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little brother. I know.
What are you apologizing for?
Well, there's still admiration there, I think.
No, I'm done. I've been done with Tulsi. I mean, it's just my heart keeps breaking that she's still doing this, But
yeah. Among the dead was Hamid Al-Mufiti, captain of the Palestinian national volleyball team and a player for the Jabalah Youth Club. Online tributes poured in for the sports player, with many remembering him as a dedicated and prominent team player. In the occupied West Bank city of Jenin, the Israeli military carried out a demolition of 95 homes in the city refugee camp. Wafa reported, adding, it is home to over 11,000 people. The demolitions are part of a plan to level 95 homes by Israeli authorities and come after 66 buildings were destroyed in March. I think that's it. They don't have anything for today, but yeah, I'm sure today's even worse. So maybe is this going to be updated? Hold on. It says, doesn't really say it's going to be. Yeah, it says updated June 20th. So yeah, they're probably going to keep updating this. So I probably should, favorite that.
As Bill Murray would say, it's Groundhog Day again.
Again.
Yeah. So, do we have any final thoughts? Because it's almost 9. I do
Actually,
have
it
to
is
go.
9 o'clock.
So,
But yes,
Israel,
yes,
fuck Trump,
yeah. Fuck Israel
fuck
and
all,
yeah,
boom, boom,
and fuck
boom,
Bernie.
boom, Tel Aviv.
yeah, yeah.
This is what
So,
you get
yeah,
when
those
all
are
your evil
my
deeds.
final
Okay,
thoughts.
sorry.
Are my final thoughts? I get a bad feeling that this is gonna be worse
We're in World War III, as Snow said
than
last night.
any.
Welcome to World War
Yeah,
III. You're gonna die.
this is gonna escalate. This is not going to. I
Now
wish
we
I
know
had
what
better
the
news
next
to share, but
Battlefield
I
game
think
is
it's gonna
going to
escalate.
be.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Video games are a propaganda
Of
Battlefield,
outlet
course.
for the U.S.
Call
government
of
too.
Duty.
As we, yeah, Battlefield, Call of Duty, yeah, all those games would be. Oh yeah, watch Americans kill more Arabs.
Well, blow the
Buy
Arabs
this
out
game
of
for
the blow the tits
$70.
off those little Arabs over there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. My son will not be playing
So
those. Okay, he plays a not American Sniper, but he plays like a sniper game. And I'm like, oh boy, I
Is
better
it
watch him on this one.
Sniper Elite?
Well, no, it's like
yeah, Cyber
I
Elite.
don't know what it is. But it's like short range, long range,
Mhm.
shooting like decoys and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the
Probably,
Sniper
yeah.
Elite.
On his
Probably
pad,
like
he
it's
plays it on his
this.
pad. He's like, I won. I'm like, that's oh
Uh-huh.
god. I'm like, baby, that's not
Well,
real life.
yeah. So my sorry, my
Hawaii,
I'm losing my
Mika,
voice. So
Brzezinski.
the Hawaiian Mika Brzezinski, huh? My final thoughts are fuck Israel, and let's hopefully doesn't get worse, but it probably will because that's our world we live in, and that's our luck. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Make
So
sure you like and
tomorrow's wrestling
subscribe.
talk, right?
Also,
Pro Wrestling Talk. Yeah, 8
yeah.
o'clock p.m.
Oh
Eastern
yeah.
Time.
Pro Wrestling
Yeah.
Talk is 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what I mean. We'll be discussing wrestling
I was
and
And
gonna say, are
watching
we
clips
gonna
again
review
at 8 o'clock.
Sunday or
Or
not?
Night of Champions?
Are we doing
what?
baseball talk on Sunday or not?
Probably not because I didn't talk to anybody and my weekend's kind of busy. So we're gonna have to. What I'm probably gonna do is probably do an All-Star break special in July during the All-Star break because my next couple weeks are kind of
When
busy. So I'm
when I
not
asked
able to
him
do it on
kid
Sunday.
about when he'd be available for a GTA episode, did he say he'd be busy for a couple weeks or a couple months? Which did he say?
I think you said a couple of months.
Yeah, and you have to give him
Yeah.
notice too, like because he's going through
So
that
then
lawsuit shit
if he'd be
and
okay if he did
some
it
other
without
shit in
him,
his life.
or if we just yes.
I figured he
So
would
maybe
be. I mean,
discuss with
whoops. So
with Snow and Crab and Dave.
yeah, Max says Mahmoud Khalil is free. Yeah, he's supposed to be released at
Max is
7
back.
Central Time.
Max
So
is back.
yeah, hey Max. If you haven't already, make sure you like and stuff like that. And my final thought also is, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, I do need a new computer because my old Chromebook finally bit the dust. So my donation links in the description box below. If you guys are able to give anything towards me getting a new computer, I would beyond appreciate it and thank you
You can
personally
get one
if you're able
similar
to
to
do
my
that.
computer, whether it's a RX 6800 or RTX 3080, and then a similar CPU as well. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think what's best is I don't know right now, but I really do need a new computer because I'm borrowing this one now for the time being. I don't know how long it's going to be, but if you guys are able to give anything, I beyond appreciate it. And I also probably going to send out a tweet, asking help for getting a new computer. So if you're able to help, I appreciate it. If not, you can I'll send out a tweet probably tonight at some point. You guys can share that. That'll be greatly appreciated as well. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. We're going to see you for Pro Wrestling Talk tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Angel in the afternoon will be back at
And
7
remember,
p.m.
everyone,
Eastern
say it loud and
on this
proud,
very
and say it's
channel.
for the people in the back row. Everybody go, suck a dick. Woo!
Suck a dick. All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. And